welcome to the Stitch Sessions. It's Karen here. I thought today we would do something quick and simple, especially if you are A, a beginner, and B, if you've got a lot of scraps lying around. So we're in the month of April. Lots of spring activities are coming up, Easter, all kinds of fun things. So I thought we would find a way to use some of our scrap yarn, and I've got some of these fun little kind of spring-like colors here. So I thought we'd make some cute little baskets. If you've got any little ones in your life that you like to give little treats to at Easter, I think this will be a fun and quick little tutorial for you. We do have a few other projects on things like baskets and things like that, and I'll leave a link to that playlist down below if you're curious to check out any other springy or Easter type related projects. So let's just get into it today. So I've got mostly a lot of medium 4-weight yarns left over. These are all the same line. It's the Bernat Premium yarn. I like to use a lot of these for kids items. So I've got some lilac here. This looks like hot pink and some yellow. And the hook size I'm going to be using is a 5.5 millimeter hook, which is also known as an I or a size 9 if you go by those labels. And anytime you're working on a project, make sure that you have a great yarn needle to weave in your ends and, of course, a pair of scissors to snip your yarn. And once you've got your materials together, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to use my lilac here, and we are going to start with a cinch circle. So we are going to create a crochet circle. Okay, so it starts very similar to a slip knot. You pull up a loop, but you do not pull the knot tight because we are going to work into this circle. So what you want to do here is chain 1. Now, some of you may like to do a chain 4 and join in a circle. Some people really like that method. It's totally up to you. I have used that method before, but most of the time you're going to see me use a cinch circle. I just like the effect that it has. So once you've got your cinch circle, we are going to chain another chain. And for this project, this is not going to count as anything. It's just going to give us the height that we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to work back into the circle and we are going to place a half double crochet. So you'll yarn over, insert into the circle, and then you will pull through all 3 loops. And so we have 1 half double crochet. So I'm going to continue to do this until I have a total of 8 half double crochets. And remember, we're not counting that chain 2 as anything. So you're going to keep stitching until you have 8 complete half double crochets. Okay, once you have 8 half double crochets, you're going to take this little tail and you're going to pull on it. And you can see how your center gets cinched in nice and shut. Don't be afraid to pull it. That's why we call it a cinch circle. Okay. And now you're going to find the top of your first stitch. So remember, not the top of the chain 2, so that's right there, is the top of your very first stitch. If it's kind of hard to see what you do, a little trick here, start from where your hook is and count backwards. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I know that that is the very first stitch. So I just insert my hook there and I slip stitch. And now round 1 is complete and you have a cute little circle just like that. Okay, let's go on to round number 2. So for round 2, what I'm going to do is I am going to actually go in between the stitches. So instead of going through the top of the stitch where you see that V, right where I slip stitched, I'm going to go in between. So it's probably in between the stitch and that chain 2. I'm going to insert my hook and then I'm going to slip stitch. So from now on, I want to work between the stitches for a little while. So then I will chain 1 this time, and it's not going to count as anything. I'm going to go back into that space and I'm going to place 2 half double crochets. So I've got 1 and back into the same space, I've got 2. Okay. And if you have a hard time seeing things, you might want to actually put a little marker. So you can grab a safety pin or anything like that, just to remember where your very first stitch is, especially because we're ignoring that chain 1. Just helps you see it a little bit better. So for round number 2, we're going to go in between every stitch. So there is the top of the stitch here and in between right there. And we're going to place 2 half double crochets. Okay, so we're increasing the number of stitches we have in each round so that we maintain our nice circular shape. Okay, so 2 stitches in between. At the end of round number 2, you should end up having 16 stitches. Okay, so I've completed the end of round 2, and this is where you want to be careful because right now it looks like I still have space to place one more stitch. This is a false stitch. So remember, we slip stitched into the space. If you're ever unsure, go back from your hook all the way to the beginning and count. I know that I should have 16 stitches, and guess what? I have 16 stitches. So I'm not going to worry about this little spot here. I'm just going to take my marker out. I'm going to go into that very first stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch to join, and voila. So round 2 looks like this, and you can see by working in between the stitches, it just snuggles everything a little bit more closely, okay? So let's move on to round number 3. So for round number 3, we are going to slip stitch again into the space. I like working into the spaces, so we're going to slip stitch into the space and then chain 1. Okay, and this time we're going to go back into that space. We're only going to place 1 half double crochet. And now into the next space, we're going to place 2 double crochets. So this is where we're still going to be increasing the number of stitches. And this is what the pattern will look like. So we had 1 stitch here and 2 stitches here. So into the next space, you can see that's where I go. I'm going to place 1 stitch, and then into the next one, which is actually between these 2 here, I'm going to place 2 half double crochets. So the pattern here for this round is 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. So at the end of round number 3, you should have 24 stitches. Okay, I'm at the end of round number 3 and I have 24 stitches. Again, you're going to feel like that is a missing stitch. It is not. We go to the very top of the next stitch and we slip stitch. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we have one more round of increases to do. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to go in between these stitches here and we are going to slip stitch and chain 1. And this time we're going to go back in between these stitches and we're going to place our increase to begin. So we've got 1 half double crochet and 2. And then what's going to happen is we're going to place 1 stitch into each of the next 2 spaces. So we have 1 here and then 1 here. Okay, and now we place 2. 1 and 2. And then we have 1 here and 1 here. So the pattern here is 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, etc., etc. So at the end of round number 4, you should have 32 stitches. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 4 and I have 32 stitches, and look at how much I had left of this lilac. Perfect timing. So what I want to do here is I am going to slip stitch to join, but this is where I'm going to introduce my new yarn, and I'm not sure, thought maybe I was going to bring the pink, but I think I'm going to bring the yellow, and I'll use my pink as a little accent since I don't have that much of it left. So I'm going to introduce my new color. And by the way, you don't have to change colors. This is meant to be, this is just to show you how a great scrap project can turn out really great if you plan out your colors. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the top of that stitch here. Just like that. And I'm going to bring this new color through. And that is what I'm going to use to slip stitch to join. Now, some people might do a slip knot on their hook. I don't always do that because I just don't want it to be too bulky. So I'm going to throw this purple over so I can trap it in here. And then I'm going to chain 1. And it's pretty secure. That yellow yarn is not going anywhere. Okay. So now we have our yellow yarn to start with. And if this throws you off, you can kind of snip your yarn and weave it in so that it's out of the way. I'm probably going to try and just weave it in at the end. So what we're going to do now is we're no longer going to increase. So this is basically the size of our basket. So, you know, inside an adult hand, it looks like that. It's just meant to be something, you know, small and sweet to give to a small child. So what I'm going to do is we are going to continue on with our half double crochet. So we've already chained one, and we're going to continue working between the stitches. So I'm just going to yarn over, and in between, I'm going to half double crochet. And this is all I'm going to do is I'm going to work between the stitches, and I'm just going to place one half double crochet in between each and every single space. And that's it, that's all. So because you're not going to be increasing the number of stitches, you're going to start to notice that your work is going to curl. So mostly, see, it kind of wants to do it already. And that's okay, because remember, we want it to curl up. That's what gives the look of the basket. So go ahead and do that all the way around. And at the end of round number 5, you should still have 32 stitches. Okay, so I have come up to the end of round number 5. And now you can see when we change colors, by working in between the stitches, it creates this really pretty little effect. So I've come up to the end of my round, and all I'm going to do, as usual, is I'm going to go to the top of the very first stitch and slip stitch. And now all you're going to do is you're going to repeat round number 5. So you're going to go into the very next space and slip stitch, chain 1, and now work again in between the stitches, 1 half double crochet into each space. Our stitch count is still 32 stitches, and you're going to repeat this for another 4 rounds. So that you should have, so this is currently round 6. So we should have 9 rounds at the end of it all. Okay, so I have completed round number 9. So now my basket has finally taken shape. So you can see the stitching on the inside. If you look at it on the bottom, that's what it looks like. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so now of course you can make yours as tall as you like. I think this is just perfect sizing to fit some nice cute little chocolates in here. And now I'm going to bring back this little tiny amount, and I'm going to use it to make a little trim and perhaps even some teeny tiny little handles, and then our project will be complete. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to do the same thing I did previously. And I am going to just pull this through. Whoops, I'm going to slip stitch by pulling this through, just like that. And then I'm going to throw the tail over as well as that yellow yarn. And then I'm going to yarn over and chain 1. And I just want to make sure everything is pulled nice and taut. And then at this point, I can snip my yellow yarn. And I'll just work over that, or you can weave it in at the end. Totally up to you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use some single crochet stitches. So again, we're going to work in the space between. We're just going to reach down, and we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop. Again, I'm going to work over my tails here and just single crochet. And I'm going to do 1 single crochet into every space, just like we did with the half doubles. And you should still have 32 stitches. Okay, so I'm just at the end of round number 10. I'm slip stitching to join. And now my basket really looks very Eastery. Between the purple and the yellow and the pink, it's looking very Eastery. So I've only got a little bit left, but I am going to go ahead and do one more round to create some cute little handles. And I actually do have a little bit more of this pink. So here we go. So I'm just going to slip stitch to join here. And I know I have 32 stitches. So I am going to stitch up 13. So I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to work into the stitches this time. So I've got single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and 13. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain up 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, I'm going to single crochet. And you can see that creates this sweet little handle, okay? And then you're just going to continue on. Now I've run out here, so I'm just going to quickly just add a cute little knot here. And there's many different ways you can do it. I normally do this knot differently, but because I want this to be really quick, I'm just going to knot it that way. Pull on it to make sure, and then just snip there. Great. Okay, and now I'm going to continue to do another 13 stitches, well, including this one. So then we have 2, 3. So I've had to change my camera because the other one had the battery die. So if you notice a change in the quality of the shot, that is why. So as I said before, after this handle, including this first one, I chained 13. And then you should have 3 stitches left. So I have 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do the same thing you did before. You're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you will slip stitch to join at the top of the very first stitch that we did. Okay? And so there, you now have a cute little basket with handles. Now what I always like to do is I like to just do one more round of slip stitches all the way around. Just gives the edge a little bit of strength as well as the handles, especially if a little one is handling this. They're probably going to go through the ringer here. So all I'm going to do, and I'm not even going to chain 1 really. I am just going to go into every stitch and I'm just going to slip stitch all the way around. And most especially once I get to that handle, I want to make sure that I slip stitch across there. Whoops. Okay, so now I'm into the handle and I'm just going to go into every single chain here. And I'm just going to work right into the top of the chain just to make it nice and easy. And I'm going to slip stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I come back down into my regular stitches and I continue. Okay, so now you can see that handle is a little bit stronger. And there you go. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this, slip stitch all the way around. When I get to the end, I'm just going to fasten off, weave in my ends, and my sweet little basket is going to be done. Super, super quick and cute. Okay, and here is my finished basket. Is it not adorable? And I've already gotten some Easter chocolates ready to go, so they fit perfectly. I'm going to take them out of this mesh thing, of course, but look at how cute that looks. Would you not be excited to get this as a kid? I absolutely would, especially with all these fun little chocolates inside. So that's our quick and easy, scrappy little Easter basket. I know those of you that have been with me a while have seen this type of design before, but I just wanted to do one this week that was super, super basic, very beginner friendly. Anybody can do it, and it's really, really quick to work up, especially if you've got a lot of those scrap pieces of yarn left. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. And there it is. So I hope you had fun working on this, guys. If you have any detailed questions about it, just make sure to drop them for me in the comment box down below. And as always, please do feel free to email me directly if you wish. And you can do that at info@crochetcrafty.com. And as always, I encourage you to attach a photo of your work so I can see what's going on and better help you. And as always, I invite you to come check out the website. It's crochetcrafty.com. There's a lot of great resources there for you, especially for you beginners if you're looking for things like sizing charts and planning checklists. It's really, really great. There's also a bunch of free written patterns as well as a link to my Etsy shop. And make sure to come say hi to me on the socials. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at The Stitch Sessions. So that's it for now, guys. And if you know someone that might find this tutorial helpful and encouraging to work on some beginner projects, please do share it with them. I love sharing my love of crochet. And if you're new here and enjoyed this tutorial, I invite you to press that subscribe button, and it'll keep you up to date every time I upload a brand new video. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. Take really good care of yourselves. Happy crocheting as always. Happy Easter in the next coming weeks. And I will see you guys in next week's session. Bye-bye.